guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aubrey and I'm back with another video today. So the video that I had said that I was going to do at the end of my last video was one on my honeymoon book, album, scrapbook, whatever you want to call it, that I had made. So I'm going to briefly talk about how I made it. I'm going to link a video below of how the technique that I used. And then I'm actually going to time-lapse and show how I'm going to decorate the cover of the last two books in here. So anyway, let me just go into detail. So this album I actually made out of a Triscuit box. There's an awesome tutorial that Johanna put up on YouTube. I'm going to link it below. There's like 1 million views on it because she does such a good job at showing you how to make a journal, and you can really use any cardboard that you have. I used a Triscuit box. Yes, this was made from a Triscuit box, and you can't even tell. So I just went down into my pantry, found whatever kind of box I had that was the size that I was looking for, and you can always cut it down if you want, of course. And then cut off the ends. I covered the front and back with scrapbook paper, the spine with scrapbook paper, and then I put washi down to reinforce it, and then I made 4 signatures, which I'll show you those then, but I made 4 signatures, looped everything through using embroidery floss. I just use red like always because I just like how that looks more classic, and there's 4 you can see there. So I had a lot of fun making this. I definitely like the different feel than compared to like a traveler's notebook. It's just nice, and considering this is just something that's like once and done, like it was a one-time kind of thing. It's not a journal that I'm going to take in and take out of my traveler's notebook. I kind of felt like I wanted to do something different for this, so I'm very happy with it so far. My goal is to have all of the pictures and journaling and everything done before our baby is born in July. We'll see if that happens, but that's my goal. So on the inside here, I also covered this with scrapbook paper, and I did it in separate panels just because I didn't want it to fold across the seam there. So I did 3 pieces like that, and then I did the same one on the outside there. On the back here, I had got this little pocket. It's from Smashbox. I think I got this from Tuesday Morning. It was in a pack for like 50 cents. I just liked how it looked like luggage, and then I'm gonna stick some ephemera and some extra little goodies in there, but I really liked how that looked. On the inside pocket here, I used one of our luggage tags, and I actually just glued it on the top and bottom, and I'm gonna slide some things in here. It's gonna be like a slip pocket. So I think that will look really cool. Once I might put some extra pictures in there. I'm not really sure yet. So I did 4 signatures because there were 4 countries that we went to on our honeymoon. So I'll briefly just go through what I did in each signature. They're all pretty much the same, but I made junk journal styles. So I put in a mixture of map paper, some old paper that I had, some tablet paper, composition paper, more old paper, regular computer paper, and so on. There's some music paper in there too, and a doily. And there's the inside. Where's it go? There's the inside of the signature. So I did that for all 4 of them. Most of them are the same. I think they're all the same actually. One of them has like a ticket stub in it, but I just like the different feel of the junk journal. It just makes it more fun in my opinion. Oh yeah, here. I put in a ticket stub there. So always keep all of your everything that you come across. My husband was cracking up at me because I literally kept everything, and you think I'm lying, but I have maps and oh my goodness, I have receipts. I had a huge bag of things that I came home with, and it's just fun because now I can use all of this. It's great to put in your scrapbook. We used the Eurail, so I kept the brochure from that, so I could use the maps from that. It's like free scrapbook paper. Business cards, tags to clothing, I mean anything that I could come across. So I will get more into that a little bit later once I actually decorate the other 2 covers. I'm going to show you the first 2 that I did decorate. So for the 4 countries that we went to, we flew to Amsterdam. We were there for, oh gosh, 1 or 2 days. From Amsterdam, we took the train and went to Brussels in Belgium. We were there for one night, took the train to Paris. We were in Paris for 4 days, took the train to Barcelona. We were in Barcelona for 3 days. Then we took the train back to Amsterdam for one more night, and we had our flight out of Amsterdam. So it was an awesome trip. I would highly recommend doing something like that if you're ever able to. It was kind of like a once-in-a-lifetime thing for us, so that's why we decided to do it. But anyway, so with my Amsterdam cover here, I'll show you when I actually do the process for the other two, but I just filled a water brush pen with some India ink that I use for my calligraphy, and I just wrote Amsterdam like so. I used some tissue paper that I had. This was a Tim Holtz, one of his ephemera packs for those two, and then this was this library paper that I had showed in a previous video that I just really liked, so I thought that looked very pretty. On the back here, both of these were things that I had gotten from our trip in Amsterdam. We went to the Rijksmuseum, so this was the back of our ticket, and then this was a bookmark that I got from one of the stores that we were at there. And then for my Brussels book, like I did the same thing. I wrote Brussels up here, used another ephemera piece, used a beer label because Brussels is very famous. There's a bar there that they have a ton of different beers, so I used one of the labels from the bar, from the beer that we drank at the bar. Some washi down here, and then this was the bar I was talking about, the Delirium Tap House, so I used one of our receipts from there for that. And so I still need to do the back then of that one, and then the front and back of Paris and the front and back of Barcelona. So I'm going to speed up the process now and decorate those, and keep watching if you're interested. Okay, so the first couple of seconds, you just missed me using my Tim Holtz mini stapler to attach that postcard on, and I used some washi tape then just for a little border. So now I'm working on the front of the Paris cover, just kind of messing around with what I have, seeing what I like. I usually lay things down and move them around a little bit, just using a regular glue stick. This is a vellum Tim Holtz. He has a collection of like ephemera that's a vellum pack, so that's where I got the maps from. That's just a little piece of paper that I think my aunt had gifted to me, and then this was a ticket. We had dinner as a gift from my brothers and their wives. It was one of our wedding gifts. They got us dinner in the Eiffel Tower, so this was our ticket to get into the Eiffel Tower. So that was like our favorite part of the trip, so I definitely wanted to highlight that and put it on the cover. But I didn't want to cover the back side of it because I loved how it said like admittance and the date and the time and when we went and everything, so I just used washi to tip it in. And as you can see, I'm very OCD about the washi tape, and I like when it lines up perfectly, so I mess around with that for a little bit just to make sure that it looks okay. And then I use a little arrow finger point. I've done it on the first two books as well, just so I point to like the location that we went to. And I'm using my water brush that's filled with India ink and using that to write the word Paris. Towards the end, more of the ink started coming out, and it just like a ton of it started coming out, so that's why I went over the word so it all matched and was the same shade of black. But then I did have to break out my Heidi Swap dryer so I could dry it in time because I didn't want it to get onto the opposite side of the other booklet. So after that is dry, I decided to work on the back of the Paris booklet, and I had this little brochure from inside of like a map that shows you different parts of the Eiffel Tower, so it was the perfect width, so I just cut that, and I ended up just using my Tim Holtz mini attacher again, and I just stapled that down because I liked how that looked, and it was simple and easy, and I was happy with it. So that part was easy. And I didn't like how the front of this was a little plain, so I decided to add just a little bit of washi at the bottom, just because I needed something to just dress it up a little bit more. So I added some black and white striped washi, which black and white stripes for some reason just screams Paris to me, so it seemed fitting. So I'm showing the little arrows with the finger point there, and I didn't have a fourth one, so I do have a stamp that I use later on that I'll show you. So now I'm just trying to figure out what I want to put on the cover of my Barcelona cover. I'm looking through some of the scraps that I had from that part of our trip, some extra scrapbook paper. I just kind of mess around for a little bit until I figure out what I want to do. So There's that finger point stamp I was talking about. For some reason, I just love how that looks. So I have like washi tape in that, and I have the stamp, and I changed my mind and decided to use this pink floral map. And I, for some reason lately, like just ripping paper and putting it in that way. I don't know why, but I do. And I wanted to use this Gray Street business card. It was a really pretty store that we went into, but I ended up opting not to use that, and I used something else instead just because the business card was a little thick. Got some ink on my table there, so I just cleaned that up. So I put down that scrapbook paper, and I decide not to use that business card, and I look for something else. I find this old tag that I had gotten from an antique store near me. They use these really cool tags to put the price and name on their items that they're selling, and so I always keep them. I just like how they look. So I put some more glue on the back of that and put that on down. And then I trim off the excess at the top. I do like when some of it hangs over, but this was just like super long, so I just wanted it a little bit shorter. So I cut that down, and then I'm using my finger point stamp with an Ranger Archival black ink pad. Again, using my water brush, and this time I made sure I was careful with the ink, but I wrote out Barcelona. And then I still felt like I needed just a couple more things on the page, and I do have a collection you can see in the bottom right, just of vintage stamps that are they've already been used. I got these on eBay like probably 5 or 6 years ago. It just came in a little vellum bag. There's a lot of stamp collectors that sell these. I paid maybe $3 or $4 for them, and there's so many, and they just are a little cute something to add, so I put down 2 of those stamps. And then I still wanted to put one more thing down on the page just to make it a little bit more finished, so I found, again, one of these Tim Holtz vellum ephemera pieces. I had gotten a pack of his ephemera that was specifically travel themed because I knew that I was making this book, so I got that from my mom's store on purpose because I knew that I would need it. So now onto the back of Barcelona. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do on here, so I found this newspaper print that I actually had gotten from one of a package that I had gotten from eBay, like that was from Japan or China. They use this like newspaper print. It says the same thing, like it repeats itself, but it looks cool if you just use a little bit of it. So I was trying to figure out what to do and if I wanted to use any other scraps or what receipts I wanted to use. And then I forgot that we have a ton of these tickets because of the public transit that we used in Barcelona. So I stapled 2 of those together and then glued those down and put those on top. And I liked how that looked with the contrast of the green and the newsprint. And so I thought that it was good, but I just realized I needed to tear a little bit at the end there to make it shut nicely. So that is the last 2 books. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. Let me know if you have any questions.